Peace, and welcome to our top 10 castle themes in gaming. Today, our guidelines include: Number 1, it must be inside or at least in front of a castle. Number 2, as always, one per franchise, because let's be honest, Castlevania might dominate this list. With all of that being said, here are some of our top 10 castle themes. Up first, we have Rogue Legacy, Trilobyte, the castle theme. First released in 2013 for PC, and later on saw releases for most of the modern consoles at the time. One of the most underrated soundtracks that I know about. The composer mixes chiptune-like synths with some CD-quality instruments. Most of the time, I enjoy when producers use this technique, and this one is no different. I find the entire soundtrack palatable. Maybe I skip a track or two, but otherwise it's a solid listen, and I highly recommend it. Composed by A Shell in the Pit, who you can find on Twitter under that same name. In our 9th spot, we have a Capcom classic, Ducktales, the theme of Transylvania. Now you may be thinking, is it a castle? And I would say so, considering it's a parody of Dracula and he lived in Castle Braun in Romania. This is, in a way, a Castle Dracula theme. At least the Duckburg version. The DuckTales NES soundtrack gets a lot of attention because of the Moon theme, but there are plenty of really good themes besides the Moon, Transylvania being a good example. Composed by Hiroshige Tonomura. He didn't compose a lot of video game music, and DuckTales is probably his most well-known. Our number 8 theme today comes from Super Mario World, the castle theme. This Super Nintendo game has a ton of classic tunes. They might not be the most complex, but they are for sure memorable. A simple but effective theme. I really enjoy when a composer can look at the environment of a stage and compose a piece that goes right along with it. For being just some bleeps and bloops, Koji Kondo portrays a final stage and upcoming boss fight really well. This theme is a classic, and it was a difficult decision to put it this low on our list. But the list today is full of fantastic tunes. In at lucky number 7, we have the game Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, and the luxurious Overture. newest game on our list today, it was first released in 2019, and the soundtrack is top tier. In my opinion, this is a criminally underrated soundtrack. Think of this as Castlevania 2.0. Everything has been given a facelift, from the graphics to gameplay, and of course, to the soundtrack. Composed by Michiru Yamane, she may be best known for her work on Castlevania, and she brought that same energy to Bloodstained. This is a perfect track to run around and smack some demons around with a sword or whip. And at number 6, we have Tenchu Stealth Assassins, Reclaim the Castle. From the 1998 PS1 game, this stealth ninja game desperately needs a remake, a reboot, a remaster, or a sequel, or something. But that's a subject for another video. Track that resembles some themes you may hear in the Rurouni Kenshin TV series, but that's only because the same composer worked on both. Composed by Noriyuki Asakura. He hasn't worked on a ton of video games and anime, but there's a pretty good amount. The first time I heard the soundtrack, I thought it was quite unique, and it grew on me enough to become one of my all-time favorite soundtracks. Our number 5 spot is held by Final Fantasy IV, The Kingdom of Baron. A classic series with plenty of good music. We chose Baron because of its epic anthem feel. It fits good with royal knights, soldiers, and a king. As always, Final Fantasy was a bit difficult to narrow down. There's a lot of games in the franchise, and pretty much every game has multiple castle themes to choose from. For being a chiptune from a 16-bit console with limited memory, this soundtrack seemed like a full-fledged orchestra when I first heard it. Composed by Nobuo Uematsu, he's the main composer in basically every Final Fantasy game ever made. One can only imagine how many thousands of hours he has worked on Final Fantasy music. Unlucky number 4 is from The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, the theme of Hyrule Castle. Released in 1991, this game helped cement Zelda as one of the great franchises, and I think the music played a huge part. Another chiptune from the SNES, as well as another one composed by Koji Kondo. This theme is as good as it is memorable. It has the perfect amount of evil feel. It always made me think I better power up before I come back and take on the boss. A lot like our previous entry, there's plenty of Zelda themes to choose from. We just felt this one stood out and above the rest. It's another great theme from a 16-bit console. In the bronze position today, we have Golden Axe, and the theme to Death Adder's Castle. Golden Axe dates back to 1989 when it was first released in arcades. It was also released that same year for the Sega Genesis as a launch title. Composed by Toru Nakabayashi, the entire soundtrack is worth a listen. It goes perfectly with a medieval game like Golden Axe. Some castle themes have an epic feel like our Final Fantasy entry, while others have a dark and ominous feel like our Zelda entry. This one has a little bit of both. Its dark feel readies the player for a fight. The theme overall isn't complicated or really in-depth, but it's all about the vibe and the fit with the game. In our silver position, we have a classic. From Mega Man 2, Dr. Wily's Castle. Our second NES entry on the list today, this one comes from the 1988 Capcom game starring the Blue Bomber. Maybe not your typical castle, but this is also not your typical castle theme. This energetic piece is one of the best on the console. It's a classic and may just be one of the best pieces in the entire Mega Man franchise. Composed by Takashi Tateishi, his resume isn't the longest, but it sure left an impression. The director of Mega Man 2, Akira Kitamura, liked this theme so much that he asked Tateishi to make another track, and make it similar. This ended up being Woodman's theme. So next time you listen to that, if you hear a little bit of the Dr. Wily vibe, that may be why. And of course, before we get to number 1, our honorable mentions. In our top spot today, we have, in our opinion, the best castle theme in video games. From Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Castle Dracula. With a name like Castlevania, you should have some of the best castle music in gaming, and it delivers. A ton of themes in the franchise do qualify, and it was a tough decision. However, this theme has an advantage over a lot of the early games, as this is CD quality and suffers from exactly zero compression issues. It's a little bit of an unfair fight, as the older themes use older technology. After it's all said and done, I enjoy almost all of the Castlevania music, but this theme gets my vote for the best castle theme. Our next top 10 will be in the comments and pinned to the top. So if you have any submissions, feel free to comment there and let us know some of your favorites. Special thanks and huge shout out to Golden Tier patrons Bearsona and Quantum X. I am ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.